Hello everybody, CryptoChaperone here, and today is November 7th. A great day to be alive, great day to be in cryptocurrency land. If you have not subscribed to me yet, I would suggest doing that now. That would give you the opportunity to, when I do eventually give out my Ledger Nano S, that will give you an opportunity to win one, if you don't mind liking my video perhaps. And today we're just going to go over the markets a little bit, and I'm going to be adding on to my market manipulation talk that I was kind of doing the other day. I'm going to kind of add on to that, and I'm going to show you guys something that I came across like right after I made the video, and I wanted to add it in, but it was right after I uploaded it, so I'm going to make it in today. It's going to be a way to spot accumulation. And if you paid attention to my last video or looked into the comments, I did put up an example that I was going to be using and an example that I really liked that did happen, and it was, I'll be getting into that actually. We're going to just take a quick look at the markets, everybody. I'm sure you've been feeling the benefits of your altcoins going up, and then I'm sure you've also seen them going back down. And probably tomorrow you'll see them going back up, and then the next day they'll go back down. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fluctuating going on here as we approach this SegWit 2x fork that is going to be coming sometime next week. A lot of people are talking about from November 13th to about the 17th, I think. One of those days, the block should be in there. All I can really tell you to do in preparation for that is kind of just keep your Bitcoin in wallets that you are sure that you have the ownership of. Don't keep them on any exchanges. I know it's probably not going to be anything major that would happen on the exchanges, but if for some reason a problem would occur, it's probably just best to keep it in your own ownership. And I would not send any Bitcoins potentially maybe within the first few hours to the first day or so after the hard fork, to make sure that you are not sending potentially your wrong Bitcoins over. You could be sending Bitcoins instead of 2x coins or vice versa, and it could be definitely costly until everything gets kind of set into place and it's 100% sure for certain and all figured out what coins are where and what wallets are sending what coins, and they're split, and however that's going to happen. But it is definitely a hectic thing going on in cryptocurrency. I think after this hard fork blows over, I think that's pretty much one of our biggest setbacks, is all these hard forks we've been seeing, from Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin Gold to this SegWit 2x and everything that's been going on. That's just putting all these kind of resistant walls on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, because people want to take advantage of getting their split currency, so they pull out of their altcoins, and that puts an effect on all the altcoins. And then everybody who doesn't want to hold on to these coins or wants to maybe take advantage of trading, they start selling their altcoins, and that'll cause more of a dip on the market. People who have weak hands, they'll continue to sell. That'll cause more of a dip, and you'll just see a lot of fluctuating going on in the markets. And I think as soon as we get past these hard forks and all these situations with Bitcoin and all that, I think we're definitely going to see a lot more potential for just Bitcoin to grow and all these other cryptocurrencies to follow, until we run into more of these forks, which I don't think will probably be until like later next year. So we should be good for like 8 months or so, hopefully. And that should be enough time for cryptocurrency to do what it already did once this year, pretty much like the whole way throughout this year, how it was booming. But so if we take a look at our growing markets, Singular DTV, talked about that a little bit. It is just the direct TV, or I think it's like direct TV or some sort of TV over in Japan, China. And I haven't really looked into it too much. I want to start maybe every so often, maybe every week or two, I'll pick one or two random coins, or maybe if any viewers want me to look into some certain coins that are already established, not really ICOs, but maybe in the top 100, maybe on the top 200 coins. I don't really want to look too further in than that, but I like to maybe look into some of these coins in the top 100, top 200 that either have been here for a while that maybe you don't really know about. I know I don't really look into too many of these coins too often unless they have some sort of big significance that goes off. If we look at our biggest losers, I mean, for an example, the Iconami, or ISO, I don't know how to pronounce it, Iconami, I would assume. But if we look at their charts, how all these are kind of, they hit a high point and descend, Iconami just has this really steep drop, and that's always something I like to look for when I am just looking at charts in general for the day-to-day charts, because a lot of times when there's a big sell-off like that, you'll kind of get a instant buyback, or at least like a decent buyback, due to a situation kind of like when BitConnect, like 2 months ago or something. I think they were hacked or whatever happened. Something went wrong. I can't remember too much about it, but the price shot down like 75%, and it went from like $130 down to like I think it was like $70-$80. And if you would have bought into it when it dropped down, it only stayed low for a very short amount of time, and then it immediately went back up. So a lot of times where you'll see these huge dips, you can see a little bit of a recovery rate after. And if you're not somebody who initially already owns a lot of these coins and you want to maybe get in for potential profit, this would be a good time. If you're somebody that already owns these coins, you're going to want to look into the news or look into whatever happened potentially and see why it dipped. Make your further decisions if you want to hold on to your coins from there or if you want to sell them. Most of the time I say to hold after dips like this, because you would be pretty much selling at a lowest point unless there was a total fall off of the coin or something in general based on that. But what I actually found out from Iconami or whatever was that there's a problem with the Parity wallet, and somehow they're connected to it. I haven't looked too much into it, so I'm not sure how, but I think it's some of their funds are connected through the Parity wallet, and there was a problem with the Parity wallet today. So this could potentially be what could be causing the price fall. If you go to, I'll put the link for this below. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked really into what all this could be. There is a bug or an exploit on the Parity wallet that could let users, I guess, assuming, or I'm not assuming, but I guess Iconami's money was somehow tied into this wallet, and when this user kind of activated this suicide trigger into the library, it says it wiped out all the code and it rendered all the multi-sig contracts unusable. So if there was any money that Iconami had tied up in these multi-sig contracts, for the most part, that's kind of not usable right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that money back, how it's going to be affecting them in the long term, if it's going to be a quick fix bug or what's going to really happen. So that could be potentially something that could drop the price even more, or if it's a quick fix, the price could shoot back up again. So I'm not like very tech savvy on this, so I don't really know what is going on here, but this is all I could really find that could be tied to the drop of the price. Potentially, if this gets resolved quickly, or if there is a resolution that they can come up with, maybe it would be a good time to buy into Iconami, since it is at a very low price point compared to what it's been. It's been up above $1 for a pretty long time, and then it was hitting high points of over $4, but potentially it dropped down over 20% today. I don't know if it's really recovered much. And I am also going to put out there that I am not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I'm not telling you guys to invest in something. Always go look into it before you invest in it. Always do your own research. Check out the Bitcoin Talk forums. Check out anything on Google that you can find about the coin. Check out Reddit, everything you can possibly do. Yeah, it's been steadily above $1, but it hasn't really been fluctuating. Oh, that's only for a day. But yeah, it was steady above $1, and it took a decent price dip down below 85 cents, possibly even below 80 cents, but could have been an opportunity to buy and accumulate for there, potentially if the situation does resolve itself or fix relatively quick. It could be a time to get into it. I don't know. So I'm going to carry on into what I wanted to talk about today for the most part, and that is market manipulation to an extent. I wanted to tie this into that, and it would be an accumulation. Now, accumulation is pretty much when buyers, or someone who, you don't even necessarily need to be a buyer, you would just be someone who is active in the market. You would be buying and selling, but it's pretty much just people who are in the market who are trying to push the price up and down to accumulate more coins. Now, when you do this, most of the time people that do this, they already have a fair amount of capital to invest in, as well as coins that they already have that they're investing into it. So in my example, I'm using ADX. ADX was around 70 cents. If you follow my Telegram or you're in my Telegram channel, I've kind of like given up on this whole like $1,000 crypto challenge, not necessarily because it's hard, but because I kind of started it at the wrong time. I started it like right near this 2x fork situation, and there's just so much volatility in the markets that a lot of my trades that I'm posting, I could have doubled the $1,000 easily by now if you've been paying attention to any of my posts. I called out Manetha when it was relatively low and talked about how it made a 30, I think like 34% jump, and I called out at the jump. So if you were paying attention to that, you could have gained 34 there. I also talked about ADX to buy at about 70 cents, 71 cents, and I talked about that in my one video as well. And I noticed to do that because of just the accumulation that was going on again. And I think ADX went up to like, it went up to $1. I think that was the all-time high for the 24 hours. I don't think it went anywhere above that. But yeah, so that would have been a nice increase. But yeah, probably about 40%. But I'm not going to do math. But the reason I kind of said that is because the coin that I was looking at was ADX, and I've been watching ADX for a while, and it does these patterns where it'll do sort of an accumulation period, and then it'll take off for either the better or for the worse. Sometimes there'll be an accumulation period and some things happen between Bitcoin or whatever's going on, and there's just kind of a sell-off, and I think it kind of works to against what the people who were running the accumulation were going for. So like in a situation here, we had like a major sell-off there, and then the market was just kind of dipping just because of over the last couple weeks we've had all this SegWit news and all that going on, and everybody getting the Bitcoin gold, and now we've got the SegWit 2x going on. So everybody's really moving their money around in altcoins and Bitcoins daily. So an accumulation's kind of hard to go through, but over the last week I kind of noticed an accumulation going on, so I thought this would be the best way for me to show it and to kind of teach you what an accumulation is. So as I talked about, it is it could be one or more users pretty much just pumping the price and pushing the price down, setting walls of resistance and walls of support. So here we had one initial buy which just pumped the price up a decent amount, and it hit this height right here. This was the highest point that it hit in the accumulation period. So I don't really know if this was accumulation, but it could have just been the starting point. And after that, you had a major sell-off. So what could have potentially happened was someone bought all these orders up into maybe 50% of what the initial rise was. So say the initial rise was 30% of the price. Maybe they bought up 15% and let the market kind of see how the market or how the price was rising. They kind of let other people start buying into it. And that last 15% could have potentially even been the coins that they bought, and they sold it back into the market. And they might have just sold a bunch of coins right there, which pushed the price down. Usually what will happen is they'll set a wall up. So they could have set a wall up maybe around like 1,200 Satoshi or 12,000 Satoshis here. And maybe they put up like a sell wall for like 20 Bitcoins of these. So anybody in front of that wanted to pretty much buy or sell their coins would have had to put a buy wall up below 12,000 Satoshis. So you would have been in the 11,900s, 800s, and then it would have been in competition pushing the price down for people to sell, which then in turn, the person who is pushing the price could either buy all those orders up, or they could lift their wall and let the price continue upward. So what will happen in accumulation a lot of times is they'll buy coins at the lowest price it'll dip to, and then they'll put up a bunch of support, which means for anybody to sell or buy coins at a lower price, their walls would have to get bought down. So if they put up 10 Bitcoins to buy, somebody would have to sell them 10 Bitcoins of ADX before that buy wall was gone, or they would have to manually take the wall down willingly. So when you put up this buy wall, potentially when it hits a floor, you could have someone who wants to buy 10 Bitcoins of this, and if I wanted to buy maybe $100 of this, I would have to buy anything above their 10 Bitcoin order. So if their 10 Bitcoin order was potentially at 10,000 Satoshis, I would have to put my order at 10,001 Satoshis or more, because if I added it to their 10,000 Satoshi order, it would be at the very bottom of the order. So they would have to go through their whole order before it got to mine. So potentially by the time it got to my order, if it was going to drop through all 10 of those Bitcoins, it might not have been the best time for me to even put my order in. And my order could potentially just get eaten up and it could drop down another 10 to 15%. So what a lot of people do a lot of times is they will put their order in slightly above that, and that kind of creates a support wall for the buys. And you'll have more and more people who will start to do this. So anybody who really wants to buy coins, the sell orders stop because there's more buys coming in. So people who want to buy these coins start to buy more and more and start to accumulate more. And once it raises up a certain percentage, the people who are pretty much mastering this accumulation, they will go through and they will drop a lot of their coins that they bought down at the lowest price back down at 10,000 Satoshis for anybody who did take them up on that 10 Bitcoin sell order. They'll drop those off back up here at a little less than 12,000 Satoshis. They'll set their next sell wall at. And they'll continue to do this over and over. They'll set these high sell walls and these buy walls. So it'll push the price up and down. And while they're doing this, they're selling their coins once it hits a certain percentage. So they're always making a profit. And when it goes down to the bottom, they're spending their whole profit that they made on buying these coins when it went up to buy back in. So potentially they could be buying 30 to 40% more coins every time it drops back down, depending on how big your accumulation spikes are. So you could be buying, if you have 1 million coins, you could be accumulating possibly a couple 100,000 every time you do one of these pumps. And eventually what they'll do is it'll just settle down. It'll kind of streamline out a little bit. And then they will not put up any more buy walls or sell walls. Or potentially they will put up a huge buy wall and a lot of people will pump the price and they won't even put up the sell wall, and it'll just continue on past what their resistance was at before. And once it goes up past there, they'll start putting in more sells and they'll kind of drop it into the market a little bit, because if they put it in too fast into the market, it'll drop the price instantly again and it'll kind of look like a pump and dump. But if they gradually put their sell orders in, that's when you get these kind of double peaks. They'll put their sell orders in and then let them kind of settle into the market. The market price will go back up and then they kind of crush the market with all their orders that they had and they push it back down a little bit. And that's kind of what happens with these ADX patterns is you'll have an accumulation period. It'll hit down into these 60, 70 cent areas, and then it'll shoot back up to like $1, $1.15, $1.20. And then it does this repeatedly. And I talked about this in a video that I did before, and I only took advantage of this 2 other times. So I definitely, when I saw this going on, I instantly made a post in my Telegram channel. So if you're a member of that, you can follow along on that. You can see these things as I post them firsthand. And I took advantage of buying it, and I followed to one of these lower points. Now they can fluctuate every time. A lot of times you're not going to really see too many dips that dip below each other. So this was definitely would have been a nice area to accumulate down in here, because it was the deepest dip that you would have got in the accumulation, which could have just potentially been maybe because of some Bitcoin news or something like that. A lot of other people maybe started selling. But during these accumulation periods, you always also have to worry about any news that could potentially break. So if a coin has a development and someone's accumulating during that development, it could shoot off right after they release their development, or vice versa. If something is about to collapse with a coin, you could have an accumulation going on like how I showed before, and there's kind of just these big dips. And you just kind of have to pay attention to the news, the markets, and everything else that's kind of going on if you want to take advantage of this. But it's definitely something interesting to watch out for. It's kind of the main thing to look for in an accumulation. Now, I can't say for sure that this was an accumulation or this was just basic markets reacting to news and everything that they were doing, or people just taking advantage of it and letting it go, and just natural markets. But I mean, to me, this looks like accumulation from everything I've seen it before, and from the way that I called that it was gonna break out up here. I mean, I didn't know specifically, but I did call within the next couple days over like 3 days ago, I said over the next like 2 to 3 days or so, we should see a break in Bitcoin or ADX, and it was like 2 days ago we saw a break upward. So potentially it could have been accumulation going on. So what you want to look for is just kind of like a high point and a low point, and you want to just see it not really break these high and low points, and you want to just see a bunch of kind of jagged lines in between these. And that is just because they're setting up the ceilings and the floors, and they're just letting the price bounce in between these. So if you are paying attention to any cryptocurrencies, or this is something you see, or it may have been something that you've seen before, but you just really didn't know how to call it out or know what was kind of going on, this could be something that you notice in the future, and you could be taking advantage of it maybe. So other than that, oh my, let's go back to here, because I kind of just like left this whole area and just jumped into that after talking about a bunch of stuff. So for the most part, that was all I was going to talk about for my addition onto market manipulation. If I come up with anything else, I'll definitely add it into my videos in the future. So that was kind of my market manipulation part 2. That's what we'll call this. And any add-ons in the future, we'll call that part 3 or 4, or anything else interesting that I find to add on to the manipulation factor. I'll definitely let everybody know about that. So to wrap up today, we're going to just take a quick look at our Bitcoin market and our market cap. As you can see, we've been definitely bumping off the $200 billion ceiling, possibly an accumulation going on here. No, not in cryptocurrencies, all of them. But I think it's just a lot of people, we've got big money coming in, and all they're really coming into is Bitcoin. And they could be potentially pumping a lot of money into the market. You could have a lot of these mining farms and people who have held Bitcoin for a while just saying, yeah, I'm going to take out a little bit of profit now. You could have companies coming up to their last quarter of the year that want to take out profits. You have the 2x fork that's coming up. People might be just securing their money for that. Any situation right now could be making the market volatile. Could be the reason that we don't go over that $200 billion market cap healthily, and we're not like at 210, 215 billion. But I think as soon as we see this 2x fork go through, I think you will see all this money moving around, because people will not have this fear. People who are just getting into cryptocurrencies right now, who do have this kind of fear of, I might lose my Bitcoins or whatever could possibly happen during this hard fork, that's all going to be gone, because that potential is not going to be there, and they're going to be willingly jumping into all these other crypto markets, and we're going to just see huge booms of cryptocurrencies, and everything's going to be moving, whether it's good or bad. You're going to be seeing huge fluctuations in these markets. So I think it's going to be probably about another 2 to 3 weeks, and I think December is going to be a crazy cryptocurrency time. Definitely going to be keeping up with all of this, trying to let you guys know as much as I can about everything. If you guys want me to look into any specific coins, possibly in the top 1 or 200 or anything like that, I don't really like to venture off too much out of there unless it's like a coin that you really think is going to blow up, or you maybe heard somebody saying it's like, I don't know, the next comparative to something up in the top 100. Maybe it's a really good gambling coin. Maybe it's a really good lightning coin. Maybe it's just got a lot of payment. It's a great payment processor coin. I don't know. But potentially, if it's out of the top couple hundred and you think it's something to look into too, let me know. Any coins. I just want to start digging deeper into these and seeing whatever your opinions are on these coins, and seeing what you guys want to dig into. Potentially maybe just specific markets in general, maybe like gambling markets, predictive markets, anything. So just let me know. My email and all that's down below. Telegram channel, and it's all down below in the information area. If you would like to send me any ICOs to look at, things like that, I try to keep up with all my ICO stuff, but I'm definitely falling behind on that. I wanted to have a video out yesterday for a new review, but I have still not even started the video yet, so I probably won't have it out until at least tomorrow or Thursday. Just really looking at every time I like get onto this, I start to like look at something else. I get on here and then I'm like, I look at an advertisement, I get carried off into another Ponzi scheme website. So we're gonna wrap up today with, here's a pop-up that came up, and then I got carried off into this. So another company that is like BitConnect, another Ponzi scheme type company. I don't even know if they have a blockchain or anything. So this could be Bit Petite, you know, their developers could have just ran off and started a whole new company already. So we've got lifebit.io, and there's already 664 members. So if you don't get in now, you're going to lose everything, because these 664 are going to be making it all. Or these 664 are going to be the initial members who lose all their money that they put into it, as well as the next 2,000 people who join. So what you always want to be aware of is any of these affiliate programs, anything that promises you to get up to 7% profit daily on an investment. If anyone's talking to you about making a guaranteed investment, or profit on an investment, I mean, it's most likely a Ponzi scheme, especially if you have a whole affiliate program as well, the 9% referral, and they kind of took their artistic approach and try to avoid any sort of pyramid look on here. So we've got their levels, which are pretty much the same as BitConnect, where you have your referrals and your referrals, referees, and your referrals, referees, and you know, it's a whole big chain of command where you're still getting a little bit of everybody's percentage the whole way down the pyramid, which is, you know, essentially just a pyramid scheme. So this website has been online, well, it's been online for 33 days, so it can't, well, it could possibly be Bit Petite, just in a different one, but I don't think so. So 33 days online, you know, we might see 100 days, we might see 35 days. Definitely, if you guys ever come across these, research the website, always look at it 30-40 times, and anything that you send to the website, just make sure that you'd be willing to send it to just a blank burn or a blank burn address, because you could potentially never be getting any of this money back. So if you are ever going to invest in any of these pretty much Ponzi schemes, or anything that you kind of see these ads pop up on, actually, that's all I'm going to leave you with, guys, today. I had to cut this video a little bit short. I got some birthday stuff I got to go do, but I will be making potentially maybe another video later to update you guys some more, or I'm definitely going to have a video tomorrow. If you can you subscribe, give yourself a chance to win a Ledger Nano S, and like the video, and just stay on my channel. Enjoy. Have a great day. Ready? Tell everybody, buy Bitcoins. Say, buy Bitcoins.
Buy Bitcoin.
Buy Bitcoins. Yeah.